Well, it hasn't fixed itself. Dan here, the speed shop. Today we're working on a true Canadian classic. Yeah. Anywho, where we left this thing last, 75 Bricklin. Starting to get attached to it. When we left it last, we got it running. We had the transmission kind of work. We had a couple of freeze plugs, had been ejecto-cedo, which is no big deal. We'll fix that. Actually, I grabbed, after work today, the rubber, you push in, tighten up kind of deals. So I grabbed a couple of those. We'll see if we can put those in. But they're in the truck. It's cold outside. It's kind of warm in here. So we're going to mess around on the rest of the car. Now, I get it. The car maybe not the coolest. I'm very attached to it. I think it's kind of neat. And realistically, the only thing that makes this car cool are the doors, right? Gull-Wing doors. So today I want to spend a little bit of time on the doors. I'd like to see if we can at least see how the rams kind of work, what that whole system is. But before we do that, I'd like to work on the physical door itself. So we have that one up. Man, the broom handle is just putting in work today. But what I want to do, we're going to peel the skin right off of these things because it was very common that the fiberglass didn't really bond that great. So what we have to do is we have to mount it to the rest of the door. But while the fiberglass is off, so we'll do that next. I'm giving you a little synopsis of the video. I want to strengthen up the door. There's a lot of load on this section right here, and they put a couple little braces in just kind of tacked in. But I want to, while it's apart, we'll wire wheel it. We'll weld that a little bit. We'll maybe extend it a little bit this way. It does go a decent way down, so I don't know if we need to go any more. But just another piece of steel on there, kind of make her nice and tight. We do have a pile of leftover Nomad parts, floorboards, stuff like that. So a little Tri-5 Chevrolet and a Bricklin probably wouldn't hurt. So we're going to get on that. The goal for this next couple of videos at the very least, I want to look kind of presentable. When I say presentable, I mean just not awful. But put the door pieces back on because obviously that one's just sitting on there. That one's ripped right off. The door themselves are absolute garbage. We'll have to, like I said, peel that off, stiffen it up. I'd like to make it run and drive with the key instead of having to hot wire it. If we can get the doors working, it would be sweet, but that may be a whole other task. There is some wiring here, which I got to figure out what this is. I would assume it's going to control the latch mechanism. Would make sense. I don't really know, but we'll figure it all out. No, maybe not. It must. I don't know. These cars are kind of unique. There's not a whole lot of them. There's kind of not a lot of information on the internet about them. So I'm going to have to go ahead and figure it all out myself, which is kind of fun. So we'll do that. We'll get the doors welded up, glued back together, see if we get the rams working. Wire it with the key. Put some freeze plugs in. Make sure the block isn't cracked because obviously a freeze plug's pocked out because the water in it didn't like the negative temperatures. We can get that. Maybe just look at the wiring, clean up some of it, what we don't need, or at least figure out what it all does. And then we should be fine. Until the next video, which who knows what we're doing then. That's the plan. Let's get the camera set up, see if we can peel these doors apart and make a little TV. So here's the plan. The door is literally, it's like a door skin, like anything else, but it's fiberglass onto steel. And whatever they use to join it doesn't really do the best. So I'm thinking, if we can just kind of, well, this door's actually already basically apart. We kind of figure out, there might be some rivets on the bottom we have to drill out. Not really 100%. But as you can see, the doors are barely hanging onto this thing. Hang on. We'll use left hand. This is some trickery here. We gotta just kind of pop, there you go. Pop her out little by little. Try not, this isn't really the right tool. I'm thinking that Bricklin probably made a specialty tool, but Lyle makes it or something. Gentle, a little heat might help, eh? Don't worry, the cracking's all good noises. Anyways, I'm gonna get, am I mangling this one? that's fine. We're gonna get it all apart. There is a big brace in the center, and we'll kind of go from there. But I think, yeah, like there's a rivet right there. Think that does anything? Looks like it does go through, so we may have to drill the rivets out. We'll set the camera up and get this all off, then we'll be able to get a really good idea of what it looks like. Well, bit of a unique kind of design, taking the door panel off overhead. But anyways, that's the kind of nuts and bolts of it. So again, there's a frame rail that runs right through there, and it has this big piece of aluminum right there. Like, this is a really sturdy car. Again, back in the days of, I guess the 70s, maybe didn't have steel dashes, but it was definitely a little bit of foam on top. Quite a bit of a sturdy unit. Now, this is the panel. So again, you can kind of see it's fiberglass backed with this whatever acrylic on top. And all it is, it had some sort of a goo here and attached. Now I think what probably happens, you can see it's kind of rusty. Well, obviously where it joined, it probably just corroded, and as it rusted, it started to pop off. And I realized it got a bad rap for maybe, you know, this thing kind of coming apart and stuff like that, but it's 75 is when it was done. I mean, so I guess, yeah, the skin of a Chevrolet didn't fall off, but it rusted and probably needed replaced anyways, so I don't know, kind of a catch-22. The plan is we're going to kind of leave the ridge here so it centers up the way it was, and I'm thinking if I just take like an abrasive, like a wire wheel, and kind of cut in there just to give it a rough surface to grab to. We'll obviously clean this all up real nice down to some bare metal, and then if we just put some like kitty hair fiberglass on and a goosh it, be fine. This is a spot that was still gripped really well. Bare metal, who would have thought? The rest of it, literally everything else, is rusty. So clearly it was coming off. Now that we're in here, I have to take the other side apart. This side was missing the window, and it would appear as though some stuff is not attached to nothing. And versus trying to rack my brain and figure it out, I'll just take the other side apart and use the diagram from over there, because I'm sure it can be replaced from the inside. But why would you do that when the whole door is off? Let's figure out how it works right now. So we'll take the other side off. The door latch, where is it? It's behind the door panel now. It does, so it's a cable deal. So you can see it kind of works, right? And then I rigged this up, and we hooked it up to the MerStart. But it obviously works. So now this wire just goes to there. It runs through the door. It must run to this switch. And as you hit, up or down, it would open the latch. And then at the same time, I assume, let the solenoid with the hydraulic fluid or air up. So they do got to work together. I guess this is serviceable from inside. You can get to it. So we'll just clean everything up. We'll vacuum this all out. We'll oil everything, but it works. So we'll do that real quick, and then we'll just make sure it can latch, because right now, like it doesn't latch. So I don't know, maybe in here, and the latch itself is seized. I don't know what. We'll work on that real quick. It'd be kind of cool to have a latching door. The only concern is, well, I guess there's no glass in it, but there's no way to kind of get in there once you've closed it. So we really want to make sure it's working. And then once it's latched, if the battery is dead, I don't know how you would get into this thing. So yeah, we want to make sure this is proper. Being broken might be the best thing for me, so I can't lock myself out, but no window, we'll be fine. I'll get the vacuum, we'll start cleaning this all up, and we'll play with it. All right, let's see what we can do here. Now, I know a lot of you guys are gonna freak out about the rust, but we'll just go ahead and give her a liberal coating. Be fine. So now, we can, oh, did we latch it? Nope. Get that in there. How does this work? Do you wonder? Oh. Don't really want to lose my fingers. How does that? Something's like welded here. That's a little weird. What is supposed to move? This is clearly supposed to move. So we'll put a set of, what do I need here? I need a tool I don't have. Oh, hammer. That's what we need. With a screwdriver though. Phillips, no. Where's the, oh, the door removal screwdriver. This is clearly seized. Yep. Does this have a, I guess it wouldn't have a door lock because it has a key there, which probably just turns power onto the switch, so there wouldn't be no lock here. This is just doing nothing. What is the, oh. I kind of feel like one of those monkey commercials, the guys just hitting stuff randomly, but this obviously has to move. I think this is just seized. Well, this is just going to require a bunch of working it back and forth because I can see what moves now. And I'm just going to spray it. Move back and forth 100 times, and eventually it'll work. This may be tricky to do two-handed, but it is oh, I gotta hold that at the same time, but everything unlocks. How can I do it? Can I use my leg? Hang on, leverage. Oh, did I get it? No, I didn't. Oh, maybe, no, I didn't. 100-pound doors. I know I look real rough and tumble, but that is my limit. So it does work. Let's take a look at this switch real quick. I'd like to maybe see if we can make this door kind of do its thing. If we can hook air to it, maybe I'll do that too under the hood real quick. Ugh. And kind of go from there. But this section works, so the RAM is a whole different system, but the door latch works inside and out. If we figure out how the window works, I'm confident. Worst case, we could just kind of set the door on a couple little dollops, and if we have to take it off later we can, or just leave it off. I mean, it's kind of irrelevant. Well, no, I want to put it outside. We'll have to do something with it. Self-tappers. Okay, so here's what I did. I have regulated from the compressor itself at 50 pounds. We ran a little line, goes in here, and it's 35. But something's leaking back here, which would be where the air tanks are. And as I recall, I'm actually pretty sure one tank's not even hooked up. So let's hoist this thing in the air, and we'll just see what the deal is. But if we can make that work, if those tanks are still good, what I actually bought it from my tow truck. I bought like an onboard air kit. I think it's actually meant for air ride suspension. And it has a tank, but also it's just a little 12-volt compressor. And I'm sure we could just kind of, you know what? That's probably a 12-volt compressor right frickin' there. Huh. It has a line that goes where? Huh. Oh, right there. Why would that be disconnected? Let's test that compressor real quick. Let's get the battery pack on her and see if it makes a boop, boop. Okay, so this is the compressor. I don't know if this is a factory unit or what, but the compressor, it's got some, line to it. It's got a cutoff switch. So let's see if we can ground the case. Because it'll be isolated to the mount. Okay. Oh. Okay, so that is doing something. Whether or not that's broken inside or what. Why would it be taken apart? Different. Okay, well, let's continue razzing this thing. And we'll get it in the back. I kind of think some lines were just straight disconnected now that I'm looking at it. So if that's the case, we can, we'll just run shop air, obviously. If that works, it's just a simple connection. That'd be pretty sweet. Or it already has a place for a new one with a quick airline to it. This car's very strange. Why would it be taken apart? Look at this. Is this a coffee can? What? Oh. It's like a vacuum deal or charcoal canister or what? That straight up looks like a Folgers can. Man. Made in Canada. So I think we found our culprit. If you can see this. That's water, which means there's a little pinhole. And that is very common in air tanks, especially old ones. Obviously, compressing air causes condensation. Water sits in the tank. There's no drains on these. It'll sit and sit and sit, and it'll rot. Now, you might think, oh, just give it a bzzz with the welder. In my experience welding air tanks, or shooting off air tanks, if it's rotten there, it's rotten everywhere. And one little hole with a pull of a MIG becomes a large hole. So, we're gonna put a pair of vice grips on it. The way this comes in T's. So if I vice grip that off, it'll go across and fill that tank, and we'll see if this one has any leaks in it or not. Ultimately, these are probably not the plan for this whole system. It's funny how the compressor's all the way at the front. I guess maybe there's not a whole lot of room. I don't know. For me, I kind of think just putting the tank in the back so you can see it with all the stuff, mount the compressor underneath, it's fine, and let it rip. So I'm gonna vice grip that off. We'll hook the air back up and see if it's still leaking. Even if it's leaking, just not, that was pouring out. If we can reduce it to a light hiss, then we can kind of carry on and play. But that will be the plan. Now I gotta find a pair of crappy vice grips that I will forget under there forevermore. So I pulled the seat out. Danny's holding the camera. The air's hooked up, it's leaking at my connection. I just crimped the tank there, so it only runs on one tank, but that's irrelevant because we have it hooked up to the large tank. So I took it all apart, and I'll just show here maybe real quick. So I sprayed a bunch of oil in the switch, and this key all it does is turn this switch on or off. So it's just chunk, chunk. So it's very simple. We'll actually see if it even works. And then that runs into the back here, which has all sorts of, you know what the worst part is? There's nothing to do anything. All these are solenoids, so the top 2 are up, the bottom 2 are down, and that's a rat's nest of wiring. And then it's got some sort of dump valves and stuff. Anyways, everything's tested and works power-wise. We haven't actually messing with it. Now, obviously, the problem is we don't have the electric latch hooked up because it's corroded. So I got to trace a wire through the roof and in. But here, hold that. So the way this works is it has the one ram, and then it has, this is just like a little shock to kind of hold it. So it's got a little bit of, so now, okay. It needs a little bit more air pressure. I took too much out. We were playing with it before. We had 100 in it, 100 PSI. It was rowdy.
It almost blew its own door off.
Well, just, yeah, kind of. But so it has that. You can adjust how fast it goes down. That's probably the right amount. And then the thing is, so it latched. Now, obviously, if you go to hit it, there's nothing there for power. And we don't have nothing hooked up, so you gotta get a little. Huh?
Ah.
So we gotta play with the air pressures and stuff, but there you go, Mur. Your precious Bricklin. So if we kind of don't go all the way down there, but now it's not latched. If you just show up at 7-Eleven like a cool guy.
As you struggle to clamber out.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be, that'll be a whole different story. But up until this part will look cool. When I'm friggin' climbing in, it'll be a little lame, but. So that works. I wonder.
You have to do like the women do, you go butt first.
I wonder if the other side will just work. Can we be that lucky?
No.
There's no way, eh? So it works, but there's a leak. You can hear it. I can feel it. You see my hair?
No, a little bit, yeah.
Okay, so, oh, it's just not hooked up.
That'll do it.
Well, I was like, why is there this random plastic line that I just broke out of the way? I'm like, oh, now I see why. Okay. So we need to hit up the refrigeration section.
Oh, seriously? You didn't think that blue line went anywhere?
I didn't look at that. No, I wasn't really paying attention.
The blue line that's literally attached to the thing?
Well, I wasn't looking. But you're missing the point. It has air pressure through there. And I heard both solenoids go, so obviously it'll go up and then down once it lets air in. So you just have to get a line, which is nothing. And then it's just, or if we could just make it, it's probably just 1/4 inch line. I think some got delivered yesterday or today, I forget. So we can just make a new line. Maybe. Oh no, it needs a compression fitting, which I don't have anything. But yeah, oh, that's pretty minty. So I'm gonna continue working. I want to get this hooked up because as long as that washes, I'm sure everything works. It's crazy, everything works. If we want to run a 12 volts to what we have here, then that will allow the, I'll just show you. The idea is when you put 12 volts to that, it'll also trigger 12 volts to this.
So it'll unlatch.
So it'll unlatch at the same time. And
you
this.
don't have to worry about your arm flying off.
Well, it would be very inconvenient if you had to have the door skin off and then do that as well as lift it at the same time. So.
You just have to attach a string to it and pull the string.
Yeah. So there you go. That's pretty cool.
That's exciting.
I feel like, yeah, that's neat. Pretty wicked. Okay, well, actually I'm gonna put this up. Oh man, Gull-Wing doors. Okay. Oh, this is worth the money now. I'm excited. Okay. I'm frazzled.
Okay. okay.
I didn't think it would go. I didn't think it'd be this. I thought I'd be screwing around. I'd be mad. I'd push outside, pissed off.
I
But
always had faith in you.
this is friggin' cool. So I'll just run that line. We'll see how it goes. And then Danny wants to take a thumbnail. So we got to clean up a little bit for the last video, which I didn't do one yet. So whoopsie daisy. Yeah. We'll be back shortly.
Okay.
Okay. Well, ups and downs. I've been working on the car, so I ran a new wire into the switch. So that's good. Unfortunately, I noticed this ram started to bleed down, and the more we use it, the more it was bleed down. So it's probably need, I don't know what's in there, O-rings or seals or whatever, but we should be able to fix it. There's no air hooked up right now. So I have this. Now this thing here, unfortunately, it works a bunch of times and then just kind of stops. And no, it's working great. That's a problem because this is how you're gonna get into the car. There you go. So now, it's not happy, but just kind of do that. And it's good again. So, I spray a bunch of oil in there. It doesn't look like this is gonna come apart very easy. So I'm hoping it's just full of like corrosion and stuff so we can kind of work it back and forth a bunch of WD-40 in there. Maybe that'll help the situation. Worst case, this is the door panel, so it is easy to get to. It's just going to be one little clip, one connector. We can get it from the inside once we have the outside glued on. But that's probably one of those things where you might want to invest the money so you have it so it works, at least on the one side. Now, even if the door is on and it kind of screws up, you can then do the same thing. You can get it working like that. But if the window is up, you're gonna have problems. So I don't quite know. I don't want to drop this too hard. What to make of that exactly? But let's just hook up the shop here. Hang on, work with me. There we go. I guess we can unbunch this, eh? What do we? Just let that go. Well, maybe it's holding now. Oh no, there we go. So it she bleeds off, and then once it starts going, it kind of goes. But let her all the way down. The latch. There we go. Oh, so it works. But again, if that latch don't go, it'll try and pull the ram. So I don't know. It does its thing, sort of. You gotta be quick when you get out. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's not that bad. I sprayed some Windex in there. I spray it. It definitely bubbles out a little bit, but it works enough that I think we can carry on. Is it fixed? Maybe there's some stuff we can spray in the air, like tire seal kind of junk, but for like air conditioning almost. That'll seal up little O-rings and all that. Maybe we can try that. I don't know. Or fix the ram. Or Merc can deal with it. I think we're gonna have to let it go down a little faster too. It doesn't really want to latch super great. Maybe you gotta, well, I don't know. Whoo! Come on. I know a lot of you guys aren't into the Bricklin and this and that, but does your car do that? Because that is freaking awesome. So I'm gonna let this do its thing. I'm gonna peel this door off real quick with the old screwdriver 500. Get the same thing going so we can see how this glass works. Yeah, it's curved glass. I can't do nothing. So I am going to be looking for a piece of glass. If anyone has glass, especially if you're local, I would appreciate a first dibs. And I think that's what's. Oh, and a passenger seat. If you happen to know of one, keep me in mind. Don't bogart all the Bricklin seats for yourself. Like some of us little guys need them. So we can get that together. We'll test this side out, see what we got for wiring. Again, the airline's no bueno, but we can fix that up tomorrow. I thought I was gonna do some welding, but man, I got totally sidetracked on having fun. Because that's awesome. And like I said, this, you can hear it, and I can hear it dump. So this one with an airline will work, assuming the RAM is in halfway decent, you know. Maybe it's like a safety mechanism. So you get out, you know, you've been partying all night, the dash is a little dusty, and you walk into your house like on Wolf of Wall Street, but you come back out, the doors have closed. Right? Is that how it is, Mr. Bricklin? This thing's friggin' awesome. Okay, I'm gonna peel it off. We'll see what the door looks like, or the window mechanism. So we got the door skin peeled off, such as it is, and much of the same. This is the problem. The door, the window, can I put this down more? It's literally glued on. So, while this might be possible to accomplish from inside, this crash structure comes off with 6 bolts. Man, would it be a lot easier to put the glass in with the skin off, which is really unfortunate. I was really hoping to just kind of glue that all together, but that's probably not the smartest idea, because with that all off, you can literally put it up where you want it, glue it all together, clamp it, leave it overnight, run up and down, and be done with it. So that's a weird one. Never had that where it's glued. Usually it's like a channel. I mean, GM stuff. The little latch, so same thing. It was just all corrosion central. So I just ran a little line right to the jumper pack. Can I do this at the same time? But it seems to, it works. So we'll clean up everything in here. We'll lube it all up. We'll lube up the track and whatnot. I think that's probably where we're gonna leave that section of it for right now. This one, the shock, so obviously has the pump or whatever, the air shock, and then that's just like a soft close, you know, like your kitchen drawer. It's sacked right out. So this door will slam. Like this one's a knee breaker, so you really want to be careful with it. We can get them down. Then we start working on the structure sections of it, like I said, the welding and all that, but I'm just gonna go ahead and make sure that works. And then we have to hit up the old hardware store and get some airline, but the solenoids work. That should all work. The switch should work. Realistically, it just need to be kind of rewired, replumbed, and this will probably work like the other. I'm sure it'll leak and not be great, but that's a pretty big win. This side did latch, so that was all done. That'll just be cleaned up and really be good. Man, my standards are so low that this is what makes me happy. But that we can get that taken care of, and like I said, we can do a little bit of welding. We weld both sides, then we can put that door together, like glue it together. It's gonna be what it's gonna be, and if we have to take it apart later, such is life, we'll struggle. And this one, I would like to get this stuff hung. I mean, worst case, this is actually, we could put the top section on, leave the bottom off, and you know, give it a couple of clamps or maybe just 2 dabs of silicone or something just to kind of hold it on there and make it look like something. Because now this looks bad. Nobody wants this. Or we back it out of the garage and this is the side that no one sees, so it looks cool on that side. But I gotta make a list of stuff I need, because there are some Bricklin resellers or you know, hobbyist type thing. So glass is a big one. Clearly, I don't want to put this together without it, so get that 100% taken care of, and maybe take some pictures and send the guy, make sure I have all the mechanism. Probably invest in a new door latch operator thing if he has one, and then this can be a spare. And I mean, it needs a headlight cover. They are just like aluminum pieces, so we could probably just make something, but if we're already paying the ride once, we can get that dialed. We got the hood to pick up. I mean, really, kind of comes together in a hurry. Is it getting better yet? Okay, supper's done. We did a live stream on Danny's channel, more schmoo, DD's Beach Up, Saturdays, be there. So it's probably about 8:30 or so at night here, and I think what we're gonna do is just finish off, do a little bit of welding on this, do a little bit of cleanup, and then tomorrow we'll make this door operate. We'll take a bunch of pictures of the window regulator. I'll probably take the crash bar off, just kind of get an idea of it. We can glue this side all together, make it work, and kind of call her a day. But I have these left over is the rockers. It's decent, probably like 18 gauge, something like that. Rockers from the Nomad. Now, like I was saying earlier, when the door goes all the way up, all the load is kind of on this section right here. Now, I've seen some videos, the guys take the whole window mechanism out and all that, and they'll weld, kind of down further, and they'll take this way down. But for me, honestly, the door closes okay for what it is. I mean, nothing's broken or cracked or whatever. It's not going to see constant use. It does kind of bounce and flex. I think that's nature of the beast when it comes to a heavy door being lifted. And that's just how leverage works, right? That's why every car isn't like this. But what I was thinking, I'm going to wire wheel whatever I can here, because this is all just kind of spot welded. So if I can seam weld it there, around there, make it so it's, welded as good as we possibly can. Then we can take some of this scrap here. Some of it even has some ribs in it, give it a little strength. So we can weld something, like across here to there, because obviously it has to be below the mountain surface. Something like that. Give it a little bit more strength, tie that in the whole way so it's pulling the whole thing. Honestly, the front, well, I guess I go a little further. And then the back here, same thing. If I can just, get a little piece of angle, have it go in and just weld it there, weld it in the bottom there. And then there you go. It's just transferring the load a little bit further. So we'd have from here to halfway down the door, and then from here to, a third or so. Not ideal. It'd be nice to go a little bit further in there, but I'm just not motivated to do that. So we'll get cutting, we'll get welding, and then ultimately that's where we're going to leave it for tonight. I think it's a good plan. Realistically, I think just anything you're going to do is better than nothing. A lot of guys, go crazy on these things, but I'm not too worried about it. It'll be just fine. Let's set the camera up, start cutting and welding. This is the part I like. Who'd have thought we're going to cut and weld on a fiberglass car? That's what we ended up doing. So it welded kind of mediocre. Obviously, it's all kind of sandwiched in there. So what are you going to do? But we got it, like all the dirt between the two metals. But we wire wheeled it. We got it. So we go all the way from the edge, kind of all the way down there. And up here, we kind of weld this little plate in there. I used some of the little stamping there for a little extra strength. Welded this all together and then went down. Ultimately, I would say, lengthening it all the way down would probably be pretty nice. Another little piece of angle iron to, wherever you want. But I don't really feel like taking all that structure out. It's clearly better than it was. That side, see, went all dark. I hit it with the rust conversion spray. So I'll do the same thing, the top bit. I will have to grind a little around there. And otherwise, yeah, we'll just give it a coating of oil, but that should be kind of that. I got welders on that side. But this side, we got our wire the pull, make sure that all works, give it a quick clean. I just ground this down because that's where the body's got to sit. So tomorrow we got to grind all the edge and this, because that's where it does kind of clamp onto. We'll kind of go from there. Yeah, it's honestly pretty good little car. I can't complain. This was definitely a car that was, I think, very complete and probably cared for, and then slowly but surely it just went from sitting in the shop to sitting outside, and went to shit, right? And then slowly but surely just more rain, more sun, more elements, and just rotted away, which is really unfortunate, but that's very common with these old hot rods. Hopefully this little solenoid works a little better. I gotta take some pictures of that so we can always look for some new ones. Probably not the end of the world to have one of them spare, you know what I mean? And we gotta figure out how to work the doors from inside, but that might be another video. It probably looks like there was 2 switches on the center console. They're all broken, so I'm assuming if I pull that out, there'll be wiring in there. If that's the case, we can just put a rocker switch to make those work, and that's it. So I'm gonna spray this down. Tomorrow we'll get it all finished up, get this side together 100%. That side, I don't think we're gonna go a whole lot further with it. And yeah, kind of keep carrying on. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Next day. So we got this thing all kind of down. I've been doing a little bit of screwing around with this door. So this is the crash kind of deal. So it's, you know, sturdy little aluminum. So it bolts onto the structure. So I took that off. I cleaned everything out. I oiled everything up. I actually put a bunch of grease on it just because I feel like it's gonna be really hard to get to ever again. So now is the time to go overkill. So I did that, got everything so it works. The window goes up and down nice. It's funny, the door has to be kind of vertical for the window to go up and down, otherwise, well, properly, because it kind of falls out of its track a little bit and then it gets all bound up. But I don't think a lot of people are gonna have the door up and trying to unwind the window, because the crank is gonna be way up at the front and way up high. It's actually kind of funny this thing didn't have power windows with all the tomfoolery involved. I also stopped by the Bricklin store, Home Depot, and got some air door stuff. So we got some ferrules. I'm hoping I can just kind of recompression fit the lines, because they use just this waterline stuff, which I'm going to use some flexible copper tubing that I have. This is definitely a temporary deal. I think what it needs is we need to plumb it and like lock it into this bracket or something. Then it needs a piece of like, well, probably that plastic for like water line or something like that, because the ram, so I don't know if that's supposed to be like that. The ram itself works back and forth, so it can't have a hard line to it. It does have to have some flexibility. So we'll have to get kind of like a hard line, lock that down, and then some sort of like a flex line that'll go to the ram that can move back and forth a bunch, but that's fine. What else we got going on? So yeah, back to this side, I guess. I'm gonna do the same thing I did on that side. I'm gonna run a new wire from the actuator inside. Hopefully the switch and all that will work it. We'll clean that all up, and then I'll show you what I'm gonna be making the line to the ram. It's just like a ferrule on one end and compression on the other, so a very simple 1/4 inch line. If we get that all dialed together, this door should work, assuming this ram isn't junk, which fingers crossed, we can get that going up and down. If that works, we can put the crash structure back in here. I took a bunch of pictures so I know what it's supposed to look like. Then we can glue everything on this one. That side, I don't know what we're gonna do. Might just glue the top on and leave the bottom for later, because obviously the glass is an issue. I did send a couple emails of some Bricklin resellers, so hopefully that's not too ridiculous to find some parts. If we can get that, then I'll just put slam a window in this thing and we'll be golden. I also picked up some vinyl dye, carpet dye. So I think the carpet's going black, but that'll be the next video. Interior of your Bricklin from the hardware store. I actually went to Princess Auto, got some toggle momentary switches, so this will be how you control the door from inside. I'm sure some of you guys are asking. So in the center console, there's 2 broken switches, which I assume would be for the doors to go up and down. So hopefully there's wiring there, and if not, we'll get in there. We'll get in there. But that'll be next video. Dye it all, put the interior back together, get the switches working, maybe do some wiring properly, put a proper battery in this thing, and yeah, it's coming along. Anyway, I'll come back once I have this thing all wired up. Pretty simple. I'll show you how I'm going to plumb this air tank. Okay, so I ran our new wire all the way through. It gets so grody in there, like it just wore all the insulation off. It was crazy, but we got that taken care of. So now the switches stick, but it works. It seems kind of whatever. So this is the line. So this goes into the ram, and this is what I'm saying. So this part here has to move. So you can see it's got this kind of kink in it. The other side kinked and broke, but really what it needs is either hard line into plastic or something, and this is where it broke, and there's a section missing. I'm hoping the ferrule I got will just work on this. We'll just reuse this end, put a ferrule on, and go. This is what I have in stock. It's just old 1/4 inch kind of brake line stuff. Well, I guess I kind of ruined the secret there, but it works. Yeah, this is awesome. Come on, everyone said you hate this thing, but I gotta be winning you over slightly, right? It's kind of neat. This one does have a little bit more, the switch is still sticky. I gotta work it back and forth, and that shock is a dead, so it does have a little, oh, careful. So there you go. Switch works. Oh, man. And there you go. This one actually had up. It doesn't seem to leak, or doesn't leak as bad, I should say, maybe. So we'll let that go and see. The nice part is now, at least when there's air in it, it won't completely slam down. That was my worry. On the driver's side, that little shock works, and I'm sure that's got to just be a shock off something. You've got to be able to get a part number for it. So if there's no air in it, that shock allows it to kind of go down. It won't completely chop you, and probably helps with that bounce that it did when it runs out of air. Like, 'cause that's got to be what's hard on all that stuff I was welding. If it goes up in the shock, you prevent it from having that wiggle woggle. That's a technical Bricklin term, but I mean, that's a lot of weight to be right there. But yeah, mint. So I think next step, let's see if we can get this cleaned off. We'll wire wheel that off or grind it all down. Make sure this kind of matches side to side. That one looked a little beat. Not bad actually, I guess. Because that is going to be the fitment of the skin of this thing. So I'll put it down, I'll grind it all, put it down, make sure it fits. I'll go from there. Actually, you know what, I'll put this bar on real quick too, so I don't forget to do that, because that is going to be important. Well, let's start grinding. The lens is dirty. Little belly. And action. Okay, so I got everything kind of cleaned up here, as best I could in the door. Now what I did is I took the old panels and I just kind of roughed up whatever this sealer was. I assume it must bond with fiberglass since it's on fiberglass. Now the concern is this old fiberglass gets a little cracky and kind of brittle as it gets old. But I mean, it happens to all of us. We crack when we get old. Anyways, the reason I left the seal is I left this kind of lip. That way it's going to go on and line up the exact same way it was, obviously, where it has its little happy place. So we'll do that. The door section we're going to put on first. I have every clamp I can think of. We're just going to use fiberglass to put it on. I was going to use some like bonding agent stuff, but the tube, like it's a 2-part tube and you have to buy a special gun. The tube was $100 plus the gun, and I'm sure I need at least 2 tubes. We're not spending like 30% of the car budget to glue the doors back on. We'll struggle. So we're going to channel like our inner bad Chad and use the fiberglass here. My fear is this top piece. I don't know if I'll show up on camera, but it has been off for a while and it's actually curving up.
Yeah, oh, you can see it.
And when you try and curve it back down, listen for it. So I don't know how that's going to go. The side should be okay. We're going to do her in, maybe I shouldn't. If only there was a hood, Derek. The guy really, you know, when he threw it off in the bush in Florida, he's like, DD speed shop. So this one will fit, I think, okay. It kind of has a home where it wants to be, ish. I'm hoping. So let's go ahead. I'm going to mix up a little bit of the fiberglass, and I'm literally just going to kind of rub it in here and start to clamp, and that's what we need. So yeah, I'll get this mixed up and we'll be right back. Okay, so we got our Duraglass all kind of dialed. I wonder how I should do this. I think someone might have put like their body working tool out, like their sawhorse. This damn fitting is leaking air and kind of drives me crazy too. Canadian stuff. Okay.
Don't get it caught in your hair.
Huh?
That was like a pizza.
Oh, actually I need to put some here. I wanted to put new gloves on so I don't get fiberglass on the outside of the...
Shmoo it on.
This is more of a schmuck than a schmoo, but... Okay. So what do you think?
I have no thoughts.
Me neither. Welcome to DD's Speed Shop. Okay. I think that's where it wants to be. I should have got some clamps ready. That would have been smart. Damn it. Double damn it. The red switch on the side.
I don't know what I filmed right there.
Well, there was a lot going on.
Oh, look at this little baby. Little baby clam.
This is Myrrh. Christmas presents. I need more little clamps. I'm running out for fixing your Bricklin. Okay. Honestly, I think it's going not too bad. Just a little bit of excess. Probably grind that right off later. Hopefully I mix this good. It's been a while since I missed fiberglass. Just gonna kind of line up. I think so. It looks like it's
Yeah.
where it wants to be, ish. Oh, we got these big boys here. Okay, well, this is already setting up, so I think we nailed it just in time. Just in time. So we'll let that do its thing.
Hey, if you didn't nail it, we can just go to the past, fix it, and then go back to the future.
I need a DeLorean for that.
Do we know anyone that has one?
We'll hit up Derek. He's just giving Gull-Wing cars doors away. Gull-Wing door cars away. That was stressful. Okay, we'll let this set up for a little bit, and then we'll take it apart and see what falls off. They were sloppy with the whatever sealer they used originally, eh? Holy moly. Hopefully this will just
Work.
stick on there for another however many years.
2 months.
Honestly, if we make it 2 months, we're doing okay. All right. Probably should have got the clamps ready, eh? That would have been smart.
That would make too much sense.
Yeah. We don't do that around here. Okay, that one seems okay. I can hardly tell there's a giant crack there. What are little clamps?
Little clamp.
That's what we really need. The little guys. Clamp, it's very awkward to try and get in there now.
Well, and like, how are you going to clamp the top part?
I think we're gonna have to lift it up. So the answer is I actually don't know. Where did I put that rag? There it is. Okay, that's all held together.
That back corner needs something.
Yeah, I'm gonna give her a tilt here maybe. Then we can kind of get in there.
Oh, that actually looks all right.
Yeah, but just the bottom edge, I don't know how we're gonna clamp that. The door really needs to be off the thing.
Yeah.
But then I worry it wouldn't fit.
Go back in.
Well, just how we get it to kind of align. Well, clearly the best way to do this would have been take the doors off, but we're not doing that because wrestling a 100-pound door with me and Danny is not on my to-do list. I put a little zip disc on the grinder and I just kind of cut it all out. And what I did was I slowly but surely put more fiberglass in. I just put a bunch of weight on it, and it's fine. I mean, the door's the way it's going to be. It's all snug. It's all touching everything. Everything is just out of line and out of whack. The whole car. I mean, what are we going to try and match it up to? This goes up. This is like a big valley, and like, I don't know. It's going to be what's going to be. The front kind of matches. Got a bit of a high spot there, but it's custom. Hey, if we don't like it, Merc can always come by and we can cut it off and put it back together. I think what I'll do next time though, on the other side, that one had a bunch of curve to it, so it might still try and release itself. This one fits a lot better. I think when we do this side, we'll go ahead and put a bunch of schmuck on it and then put it down. And this one fits nice other than just the edges, so a little bit of weight, and that'll be just fine. Hey, when you're trying to put on fiberglass acrylic bathtub from 1975, it kind of is what it is. But that's where we're leaving it. So thank you so much for watching. Gull-Wing doors. Who'd have thought? I mean, I know a lot of people are giving me a hard time about this car, but I'm gonna win you over. It's for Mer. You know, how can you hate me trying to build a car for my super good son, building for his old man, and it's got gull wings. So we're getting there. Next video. Well, I'm still waiting to hear back about glass. Obviously nothing's happened there. We're going to clean out the interior. I think I'm going to paint the carpet black. We're going to try and hook the door switches up so it'll work from the inside. Maybe tackle a little bit of wiring, see what we can accomplish there. I want to get the hatch fitting because it does not fit latch or anything, so we got to get that taken care of. Maybe take a couple stickers off this thing. Get that dialed, and yeah, we'll see how far that takes us. We're gonna leave, I might glue the top panel on, we're gonna leave the bottom one off till we get the glass, obviously. I'll just make like 1,000 times easier. Make it run and drive, and then once it's at that level, we may be getting onto another project for a small amount of time. People are giving me a hard time about jumping around car to car. When you're waiting on parts, especially when you got something weird like this, there's only so much you can do. So that is the plan. Thanks so much for watching. If you wouldn't mind subscribing and leaving a comment below, I always love those. And I'll see you on the next video, which I am starting right now.